Welcome back to my channel. I'm Alex Alicia, your host of the New Rock Show, and today it feels a little extra spooky special because ahead of Creeper's main stage performance at Bloodstock Festival this weekend, I am joined by the vampire frontman himself. It's the one and only William von Ghould.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome to the show again. You are no stranger to this show. You've been my special guest a few times, but like I just said, there's a lot going on in your camp right now. Creeper is a really exciting band anyway, but especially right now, it's a great week for Creeper with Bloodstock on the way. So, just mentioned it, you're going to be playing the Ronnie James Dio main stage to a sold out Bloodstock on Saturday, which is so exciting. I just wondered, anybody that's going to be there, what do they have in store for them, William?
Well, it's very exciting for us because it's the first time we've ever done Bloodstock, and we made a big point of it being the only festival we're doing this summer. So it's the one and only. Also, it's the first kind of appearance we'll have had in the UK since our Coco show where we announced Mistress of Death, the second Sanguivore record. It will be the live debut in the UK, at least, of Headstones, which is the song we put out just after then. We did a little bit of it around Europe, but also we're bringing all the bells and whistles out for this one because it's a big deal for us, and it's the first the first and only UK festival appearance of this current new album campaign. So it's really, really exciting. We're really ready to go.
I just can't even begin to imagine what is in store on Saturday. I have to mention as well, when I was at Download in June this year, you might have seen it because I did tag all of you in this, but Lee Jennings from the Funeral Portrait.
Oh yeah, he's a friend of ours. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. I was talking to him at Download and I asked him who his dream collaboration would be. He mentioned that Creeper is, of course, his dream collab. He also said, you guys might already be working on something. But he said he wants to see you guys in full, the full Creeper production. Because when you come over to the US in the past, he's only been able to get a taster of what your show is like here in the UK. And he said that he would love to see the full Creeper show, but also would love to collaborate with you. And I'm just curious on your perspective to that. How would you feel about doing a collab with the Funeral Portrait? It'd be a great combo.
Yeah, well, we met Lee at one of the Black Veil Bride shows we did in the US last year, and we just got on so well, and they were such nice people. So yeah, we've been talking about maybe doing some shows together and stuff. I would love that. I've got a lot of time for Lee. He's a really, really nice man, and so yeah, and they're doing so very well. So it's just great to see good people do well as well. So yeah, I would love that. It's a shame that when he was over here for the download, we were away. So we're kind of passing like ships in the night a little bit at the moment. But yeah, hopefully we can make something happen at some point. That'd be great.
Yeah, I've got to put a petition out. Hopefully that does happen. Because I shared something on social media about it. There was a clip of Lee saying he wanted to collaborate with you. And honestly, the comments went crazy, Will. There was so many people that are fans of Creeper, fans of the Funeral Portrait, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, this is the collab we never knew we needed. This is the one. So everybody's really, I think hoping that happens. So we've got to make it happen.
I would love to. Yeah, we've got to do something. That'd be really fun.
It would be. And you just mentioned as well that you've been away in Europe over the summer. I know that, the European dates looked amazing. I mean, Cologne, for one, looked super special. You played European festivals as well. You also mentioned on the socials that it had been one of your favourite European runs as a band. And I'm just wondering what was so special about this time around? Did it feel different to previous times?
Well, I think that with Creeper, it's we're such a different type of band, I think, and where we have all of our records have sounded so different in the past, even including the ones we're doing right now. That it's not always in the UK. People understood it and kind of got it. We felt very lucky with an immediate kind of reception to it straight away out of the box, basically, where people really understood us, and it's to this day incredible here for us. But everywhere else took a little longer to some degree. And there was times where we were like, oh God, do people not really get what we're doing here? Or if they do get what we're doing, is it not for them? But what we found is, I think, especially since the last record, Sanguivore, we really started to find our people. There's a lot of really, yeah, it's very similar to what happened originally in the UK. We're also noticing it in America as well, where we were at their last, if our headliners there. these really special moments. People who completely get the bit, but also the thing about Creeper is that it's a pantomime that dissipates as the show goes on and reveals something quite sincere underneath all of the veneer that we were wearing, and it's something that people have really started to catch onto and click over there. And we had some really crazy shows at us now, and some incredible costumes. People really very very dressed up. We had some amazing costumes actually out in America the last time we were there too, on some headliners out there.
Yeah.
So it's really starting to work. It's just taken a little longer out in other places for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Also, we didn't spend a lot of time there in our first year as a band early on, so we didn't really get them as much of a head start there. But it's really amazing to see that it's starting to land, and there's never been a better time really for it to be starting to work there, because we think we're making our best music today at the moment, and we think we're kind of we're certainly in our best kind of playing era at the moment. Everyone is such a high caliber in our band in terms of musicianship, and it's just it's a really good time for this to be happening, and the possibility of bringing the live show that we do in the UK abroad is getting more and more likely now. So yeah, so it's been incredible, really touching as well to see it go down so well.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like, I just love hearing that from you. You know that I'm a massive fan of your band, what you do, and I just think you're an incredible band, and you are only getting better as the years are going on, and it's so great to see. But I love that you've always stuck to the spookiness, the fantasy, the escapism that people really get from your band. And yeah, if you get to explore that around the world and then see it connecting with people around the world, that's got to be really special for you and for the rest of the band as well.
Well, thanks very much. Yeah, it's always been very, very important to us to our band is about fantasy, and it is about escapism. It is about kind of when you're with us, the idea is that you don't have to think about the outside world for a little while. I think we all spend a little too much time in the outside world for our own
Yeah.
good. And all the things growing up that I loved that really resonated with me as a young person were things that allowed me to escape my situation. And we hope that we kind of provide that for other people in their lives now as well. So it's always good to hear that.
Yeah, no, you definitely do. And it's yeah, it's really special what you do, because like I'm not trying to get into any kind of negative, but yeah, it's a weird and crazy world that we're living in right now for many people all over the place, and it's really easy for bands to feel like they have to be like the voice of that, and they have to almost like make a stand for people. But actually, I feel like Creeper empowers people in another way that's just as important, and it is that escapism route, and it is that route where yeah, you get to actually enjoy the music, enjoy the art for what it is, and you get to have that minute where you're listening to Sanguivore and it's like you aren't in reality anymore. You're in this vampire spooky world, and that's what music is. We need it. Yeah, big congratulations on Sanguivore and everything so far, because I'm just loving it.
Oh, thanks very much. I really appreciate that. I also think that a lot of those the same things you're talking about were very true for bands like My Chemical Romance right
Mm,
now. They're doing with that huge stadium show, and
mm,
they make all their points in very clever ways, and it's and I think we kind of try and do a similar sort of thing in a sense of what we're trying to do and what we're trying to provide is there. There's like a
mm.
tendency to say in cinema, show don't tell, and that's kind of what we're trying to do a lot of the time. So it's really nice that resonates and comes through like that.
Before we talk a little bit more about the music, I just want to talk to you about just your personal I guess feelings and connections to this band, because I have had the pleasure of chatting with you a few times now over the years, and of course you're always so enthusiastic about what you do. You're obviously passionate about what you do, which is great. I just wondered, for you right now at this point in your life, like personally, what does music mean to you, and what's your relationship with music right now?
Well, I think I mean, music has kind of always been a very similar thing for me. It's about it's more than just like a hobby that I have. It's got something all encompassing, something that engulfs my entire life. Really, it's been there and I suppose it's much the same for everyone else. It's been there with me through my lowest moments and the victories we've had. It's incredibly important, and it's something that I wear with me for years. I think music allows you the ability to time travel in your own life by hearing a song that, for example, you heard at a wedding when you were a child. Like something
Yeah.
like that. Even something as silly as that, it allows this amazing thing to reconnect with the past. And I think for me right now, like it's a chance for escapism in itself as well. Where sometimes I want to listen to something that maybe is a little bit more serious, that maybe perhaps wouldn't always fit in with what we're doing with Creeper.
Mhm.
But it allows me to have that escapism to something like that, or something sadder. It is an incredibly important friend that's kind of stood side by side with me throughout the course of my life. So yeah, incredibly important. It's more important than ever. Um, and yeah, like it's the my relationship with my partner. It's the soundtrack to that. It's the soundtrack to every evening out we have. Yeah, it's I think probably one of the most important things in my life. And the ability that we've the opportunity and the fortune, the being as fortunate to be able to make it for a living and do and create things for a living, like around music adjacent things.
Yeah.
It's been incredibly, incredibly lucky for that, and I can't believe we still get to do that. Which is really fortunate, very cool.
I love that answer from you because that's like really emotional as well, like to hear you talk that way about it because I feel like you sound a little bit emotional when you talk about it, and it definitely like it comes across how much it means to you, and of course it's going to. But do you also remember like the first time with this band that you started to really feel seen and embraced in this industry? Because it's not an easy industry to be involved in, and like you've just mentioned, you've been doing it for a long time now. You feel really grateful. But yeah, was there a point where you started? Because I know you've been in bands previous to Creeper, and like, yeah, when did you first think, right, okay, we're getting noticed now? I feel kind of seen.
Um, uh, I think really right out of the gates, Cooper had more attention than anything we'd been doing before, and we were working so hard on our old bands. We're sending CDs to record companies and to labels and all sorts of stuff at the time, hand making them ourselves, hand writing letters, hand packaging things, and we're doing lots of that. We played like hundreds and hundreds of shows in our old band, and nothing ever came of it. But Creeper was kind of the result of a lot of hard work of a band that Ian and I were in prior to Creeper.
Hmm.
And the vision of it, the way that it looked, and the way it sounded was the development of something that predated Creeper by quite some way. And I think at the very last record of our old band, you can kind of hear the change and the us evolving the sound into what it is now.
Mm.
And I think that's why when it came out of the gate straight away, like we were so fortunate to that it caught people's imagination. It was like I guess we kind of matured a lot of the ideas that we were getting into on on the stuff we were doing before, and so it seemed more polished than it probably was because of that reason. It's just because we had a few runs up at it before that we didn't realize there were runs up at it. We thought it was kind of was all or nothing. But yeah, I think from the very offset, every time anyone wants to talk to you, like you talking to me now, like it's I felt we felt like this for some time now. I can't remember the exact moment, but I do recall us being booked on festivals that I
Mm.
couldn't believe wanted to have us because they certainly wouldn't have wanted my old band. And stuff like that, and seeing people show up dressed in a callous heart patch at a time, or responding to the stories and the marketing that we were all doing in house. It was all just us doing things like that, like the
Mm.
interaction. I think, and then yeah, like then you end up in some weird positions sometimes where like I remember it being quite hectic at that period at the very beginning because a lot of younger kids were coming to see us, and that like when you're doing something like that, people expect you to have the answers for things, and we were just punk kids really that didn't really know what we were doing. We're just kind of making music with our friends, and so it's been a bit of a learning curve, I think, over the years. But yeah, I would say really quite early on, we were given a break with Creeper quite early on. It was don't get me wrong, we've there's been ebbs and flows over the years for the last decade. Things haven't just been a gradual incline. We haven't just got bigger and bigger. It's not always been that way. There's been
Yeah.
ebbs and flows, but for the most part, I would be completely wrong to say that we didn't always from almost from the minute we started we had attention on us, and it was we were as surprised as anybody else. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I can imagine as well, like, yeah, it's such a whirlwind, isn't it, being in a band and being in a band like yours. I love that you just mentioned as well that you got booked for festivals that maybe were dream festivals that you never thought, that would happen to you, but it has, and it's continued to happen, and you're working your way up as well, up those bills. Like when I see you at Download and things like that, it's like on the main stage, it was last year, wasn't it? I bumped into you sort of
Yeah,
singing and
yeah.
playing, and like it's so well deserved. And at this point, I'm just curious as well, like 'cause obviously, I mean, sadly, we've lost another legend over the last couple of weeks with Ozzy Osbourne.
Yes, yeah.
And a lot of our favorites and our, what we would see as headline artists are sadly, passing away, no longer with us or no longer able to tour anymore. We heard that with Aerosmith and things that they can't do what they used to anymore. And
Yeah,
we've
Stephen's
got to,
voice, isn't it? Yeah, I've heard
yeah, and
about
it's
that.
so sad. But at the same time, we've got to look to like our future generation and who are our next headliners. And that's a big thing I like to talk about on the show. And I've kind of always championed Creeper as being
Oh,
a band that I think could be a future headliner. And I'm just curious from your perspective, like if you were maybe ever in the conversation of being future headliners for anything, like would you feel like right now where you're at, like you think, yeah, we could do this, we're ready, like we're at that point where we as a band we feel we're ready, we would fill that gap.
I don't think that. I think we would be obviously we'd be absolutely honored to do anything like that. What we really wanted to do for a number of years now is we wanted to. We've been waiting to see if 2000 Trees will have us for that main stage one of the days. Like we would love to do something like that because 2000 Trees Festival basically grew us. They were one of the first festivals to ever book us and to take a chance on us when we were very young. And we've played there so many times now, but like it's after a while we've done the lap of the place now. We've kind of played a lot of the stages, and we would really love to come back and be at a size where we could be like because they were the people that took a chance on us to begin with. That'd be the
Yeah,
first place something like that would happen for us. That would be so lovely, or what a lovely kind of full circle moment to be able to do that. But again, it's hard to know whether you're the right size to do that sort of thing, or like we
yeah,
are still very much operating in the world of kind of a cult like fan base here. It's we've never quite edged into the mainstream quite enough in the way that other acts have. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's meant that I think the records have stayed kind of sharp and fun for that reason because we can play fast and loose with that. We haven't
yeah,
had to make too many uh, we haven't had to take too many safe choices. We've always been able to make stark changes and stuff, which has been cool. But
yeah,
I would love to. I think that we have the songs now, especially with this new record we just made. We're so proud of it,
hmm
and it's got some really really fun, really silly songs on it that we really love playing.
yeah,
And like Headstones is one of our favorite ones to play now, and
hmm
I think that the band's the best it's ever been. Like Jake is so great as well. He's been doing these solos lately, and we're trying to build it more into to a full on show like that. But yeah, I suppose it's not really for me to say, but we would love to. We'd be honored to, and I really hope if in the next little while that that 2000 Trees thing could happen because I know that
yes.
it would be a huge honor for us, and we'd want to spend all of our money on making the show amazing. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Will manifest, please. Honestly, and I know a lot of the industry is about numbers and things like that, but yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, that kind of boring bit aside. I
yeah.
feel like mentality wise and all that, I just think that you guys would smash it. And yes, you definitely have the songs, you've got the stage show, you've got the look, I don't know, you've just got the vibes that I feel like it could be really great. So yeah, we're definitely manifesting that. Well, I am anyway.
Thank you very
And
much.
fingers
Appreciate
crossed.
that.
But yeah, let's talk about Sanguivore 2, Mistress of Death. It's coming real soon. It's out on Halloween, October 31st. I mean, of course,
Yeah.
there's no other date, really, is there? But I'm hearing that it's more rock and roll, it's more sins, it's more evil. I mean, could this be technically your most dramatic album yet?
Yeah, it's really as I feel like there's a tendency with bands whenever you make something to think the last thing is your best thing, but
Mhm.
we all of the feeling that this is the greatest thing we've done, I think individually, one by one, all of Creeper had texted me over the last little while saying that it's their favorite. And like Sean, our bass player Sean, messaged me a little while ago going, I think this is by far my favorite one we've done. And he said that's when we were doing like the early demoing for it, he was, I'm getting the same sort of feeling I had when we first started out. And it's always really cool to hear. And there's a lot of, like Hannah's got this great song on this record, and we're really excited about it as well. And it's her favorite thing. She keeps messaging me about it separately. So, and we got a lot more guitar work on this one than we have in the past. There's lots of, with the addition of Laurie joining the band full time, we've got these kind of dueling solos across the whole piece now. So it's really fun. It's definitely the silliest thing we've done, and by quite a country mile, I think. It's a love letter to lots of the rock and roll records that I grew up with, and the rock music that we all loved when we were kids. So the whole the conceptual idea this time around is that it exists in the same Sanguivore universe, but on a different and with the same vampiric bloodline, but in a different era. So we now find ourselves in the 1980s, and there's a vampire rock band, which is our kind of homage to David Bowie's Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, and the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Band. This kind of this fake band that is a vampire rock band that's on tour and being hunted by the Mistress of Death, this vampire killer, this Van Helsing meets Frankenstein's monster hybrid, and so it's this wonderful story we're having so much fun with, and it's been really fun with the record because a lot of the songs on the record are supposed to be the fictional band playing them. You've bought that band's record, and so we're having a lot of fun with it. It's been a real lot of fun making it. Back with Tom Dalgetty again, who he's just been fantastic. He said the other day, he told me that he was listening to it in his car, and the last song he said at the end, because the last song is so gloriously extravagant and over the top. We've got this orchestra from Prague on the record. Joe from Green Lungs played some saxophone on it as well. We've got Chantel doing this gospel stuff. Yeah, it's been really over the top. We've gone really far into it, like this 80s concept. But like Tom was like, I listened to it in my car the other day, and it was just, he said it almost brought a tear to my eye at the end. So we're all very proud of it. And as with everything that Creeper do, it's like it's not a one-man show, you know. There's there's a Creeper little family project here where Charlotte, my girlfriend, does all the makeup for the thing and designs that. We've got Darcy obviously is very much inside of our universe here, but we've got Patricia Morrison back she did some spoken word on Sex, Death and the Infinite Void, and she's returned on this one as well. So obviously having someone from the era we're referencing, a friend of ours back doing some dialogue on the record, it's really, really fun. So we really feel like it's a lot of fun, and it's and if you like the sort of things that we like, you know, it's coming out on Halloween, for God's sake. You know, it's a vampire pantomime coming out on Halloween. So
yay.
Yeah, we're really excited. And we just think for people, again, like if you're from the community that likes the sort of things that we all like, you know, if you like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, I think you're going to have a really good time. And we're really excited about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be so perfect as well, because we've got what else is coming out soon? Is the Vampire Lestat as well as coming out, isn't it? I don't know if did you watch Interview with the Vampire, the series?
No, I have a friend who's always messaging me about that. I have never seen it, no, but obviously the original is the movie is fantastic, and it was a big staple of in my house when I was growing up. But no, but I've heard about this. I you know what? It's on the list. You know, I've got to get that done.
Yeah, for sure. Get it on the list. You got to watch it, because I'm gonna I'm gonna have to say, like, it's gonna be amazing, because I think like a very similar thing is coming next. Obviously with the second book from Anne Rice, obviously Interview the Vampire is amazing. And I love the original film, but yeah, the series was really cool, and a bit of a different take on it. But the guy who's playing Lestat, he's like brilliant. His name's Sam in real life, and I think he's singing as well, and he's actually gonna be doing like a very similar thing for when they release the Vampire Lestat as well, which is just so cool. And we need more vampires, don't we, Will? We do. We need to keep bringing the vampires. So. I agree. If I said to you, like, you know, what is a word that you could say that would only really make sense to describe the new Creeper album if you hear it in full come October? Like, what would you say? Like a word that maybe would tease something to us without giving anything too much away, but one that would only, like I say, make sense when you hear it in its entirety.
That's a hard question. It's hard to think of one word that sums up the whole record. Uh, and I'm tempted to. It's like, do I use a word from the lyric, or do I just use an adjective to describe it?
You can
I
go for
think.
whatever you want, Will.
I would say, because I think it is the most like this of all of our records, I would use bombastic. I think that it is really inflated and over the top and gloriously excessive. If you're someone who likes the sound of kind of smaller production stuff, you'd not like this record. It's really we've thrown the kitchen sink at it. There's an awful lot of choir stuff. There's all sorts of things going on there. It's really silly, really silly, and really over the top. I think that's what makes it so much fun to listen to. I hope that is anyway, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's gloriously excessive and over the top. So bombastic, I think, is the word I would use.
Okay, I'm excited. I think that's a great word. That's a good tease. You also teased on socials as well, and I'm so glad that I saw this just before I jumped on this chat with you because I know that you did something with the BBC a little bit later on, and this will all have happened before this comes out, so it's all good. But I know that you're going to be, you're putting out another single. Can we say Blood Magic?
Blood
It's the
Magic is today.
ritual.
Blood
Yeah.
Magic is a ritual. It comes out today, and it is this is one of our favorite ones. It's really again. This is when we really start leaning into this vampire rock and roll band, this Queen of the Damned story we have going on here.
Yeah.
And we have an incredible video coming out for it on Wednesday as well, which I guess is all be out by then.
Yeah.
That is again, as Creepers kind of we keep describing it as a family business. Harry Steele, who's been with us for a long time now, an incredible visual artist, who
Yeah.
does all the photography for us. He comes around the world with us. He has been tasked with creating these videos, and he's made this really it's like a psychedelic fantasy. Basically, it's really surreal. It looks like Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses, or Oliver Stone's and Natural Born Killers. There's lots of kind of projection and really wild stuff start telling the story. But it's a really like, without giving it away, it's quite a raunchy video, and it's been really fun to make. And we're all like, I think if you're in on the bit with it all, it's really fun. So that comes out on Wednesday, but the song premieres tonight actually on the radio. So I'm really excited to see what people think.
When you are making an album with Creeper, because you've done it a few times over now, you're no strangers to making an album with all of the things that, gets put into a Creeper record. Like, how do you really know that the album is done and you're ready to put it out to the world? Like, at what point, what are you like looking for? Are there a certain like barometers you're measuring against, or yeah, like how do you know it's done?
I think it's hard to know. I think with every artist always would say that it never feels done. Like it there's that you've just got to stop. I think that the trick is to stop the tinkering with it before you ruin it. Because yeah, you'll never know when that point is. We'll never know if it should have been more. I think everyone involved in the creative world would say the same thing. The hard thing, the good thing about Creeper, I suppose, is that it starts off often with an idea and a concept, and there's a bit of a mission statement as we get going every time.
Mhm.
And the story we're telling with this, basically when we started making this record, I was like, well, we should do a record that where will we place where what would happen next? Where would we be in the Sanguivore universe? And we thought about this record. I was like, well, what would be a great excuse to make lots of great rock and roll songs that homage a lot of great things. Creeper's always been a band that's homaged a lot of stuff anyway. There's always lots of references that people, they're more savvy of our fan base have managed to pull them out a lot of times, which is cool. So we were like, well, wouldn't it be great to, we basically, the audience said, this is a thing that not many people really know. Like when we first came out of the gate with Sanguivore One, we weren't wearing the vampire makeup on stage. What happened was, and this is one of the amazing things about Creeper,
Mhm.
I think it was that it was painted on the dancers in the Cry to Heaven video,
Yeah.
and I'd had it on once before when we announced it around the Roundhouse show a long time ago, and when
Yeah.
we killed off Sex Death and announced that Sanguivore was coming, but we'd never worn it on stage, and we weren't wearing it on stage at the beginning of the Sanguivore campaign. I
Hmm.
think that's going to be one of the things that people will be surprised to remember. And what happened was people, our amazing fan base, started coming to the shows dressed up in the makeup, and we were like, well, we can't. We got to do this as well, you know.
Yeah.
So the audience informed the band, you know. So like,
Yeah.
and we were like, oh, okay. So now suddenly we're doing this heavy show now, and it's now becoming like a uniform. So it's amazing. I think it all syncs together. But my point in telling you that was that we when we come into this, I was like, well, we've become like because of that situation with like learning from the audience. Okay, so now we're going to copy you, you know, like so it all kind of references each other, you know. It's now we're in this like we've almost become this vampire band that we would be writing about. So I was like, isn't this cool? We've already become this it's like Kiss like sort of thing now. We have this look that's on stage all the
Yeah.
time, and I was like, well, let's make that into let's embellish that. Let's make it into more of a trope. Let's make it into the Spiders from Mars. Let's do that.
Mm.
And then we were like, well, what does that band sound like? How can we write these like they would write really big 80s sounding songs, these huge kind of that sort of music that's not in vogue anymore. Let's go and try and write some Desmond Child choruses, you know, and so yeah, it all just fell together and informed itself so well.
Yeah.
And then realizing that the band technically would be the villains in this scenario, despite that we had to find a hero for the story, and that became the Mistress of Death,
Ah.
who is terrifying, by the way. Every time I see her in the outfit, it's genuinely really scary. I can't look her in the eyes.
That's really funny. I just think it's like a really like beautiful symbiotic relationship that you have then with the fan base and of course
Yeah,
the band. It's really cute and like I don't know, I just feel like this is just something really special. I could feel it already like when I saw the video as well for Headstones and heard the track and like I heard it come on actually at Download in the TP tents. You weren't even at Download and honestly the people singing along and I was there, I was like dancing and doing the little clap and you
oh,
know it's
that's
just
awesome.
so cool because you know it's just like yeah it's so fun for people and yeah, I can't wait. October 31st is the best day of the year anyway, but it just gets better because Sanguivore Mistress of Death is going to be yours. And I'm so excited for everyone to hear it. I can't wait to hear all of it as well. And the new track this week, it's going to be so exciting. Just on the vampire note as well, it gets me thinking about like the first time I felt like I became obsessed with vampires because I am obsessed. I love them so much. And I always end up like even bands that are not like yourself, Will, that I end up doing interviews with, I can't help it. And I seem to like the narrative always ends up in spooky world. Do you know what I mean? Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
It's like
me
everybody I
too.
talk to. So yeah, it's cool that I get to ask you this because I think you're like me with this. But the first time I remember being introduced to like a vampire was Mona the Vampire, a cartoon
Ah, Man of the
series.
Vampire. Yeah.
Hasn't it got the best theme song?
Yeah,
Like
it's like,
it's
I think I can remember how it goes.
no, don't make me. Please don't make me sing it. But it's that Mona
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Vampire. It's brilliant. That was the first time I remember, like, oh my gosh, like I love this. This is really cool. And then as I've grown up, loved them. Where did your obsession with vampires begin, Will?
I think I was always obsessed with vampires. I was obsessed with movie monsters, it's just in general. And vampires were always the sexiest one of those things.
Yeah.
Although I feel like my girlfriend would tell me that the creature from the Black Lagoon is sexier than Dracula. But yeah, I think for me, I guess my parents had all of the 80s vampire classics, you know, it's the Lost Boys and Near Dark and things like that were never far away when I was younger.
Yeah.
So a lot teenage vampire was always a look for me. But I think and also it's always the coolest one to dress up as, isn't it? You know,
Oh
like
yeah. We've
you,
all done
you,
it.
you can pull off a Bela Lugosi pretty easy. You know, I don't even have anything. If I don't have any of that stuff with me, I can still pull that off. I can still make it out of nothing. You know. But yeah,
Special
I,
talent.
it's true, and I just think it's it's a really it's a universal thing that resonates with so many people, especially as human beings. The one thing we all can be certain with is dying, and the idea of escaping death and eternal youth.
Mhm.
It's also the Peter Pan tropes that the Captain Hook's scared of. Like
Yeah.
being chased by the crocodile of time and chasing round the lost boys representing youth. I think these are tropes that are just kind of they're timeless, aren't they? This is the things that we all dream about
Yeah.
as human beings. But if you combine that with a little bit of sex appeal as well, then you've got something cooking there. So yeah, I guess it was for me like a lot of the stuff that I watched growing up was probably maybe would have been Lost Boys, I think, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe something like that. But Near Dark, in particular, which came out at a very similar time, it
Mhm.
really informs a lot of the looks that Creeper do at the moment, with the sunglasses and blood all down your chin.
Yeah, that's it. And the leather and everything. It's just great. But we also got to mention as well, like live shows, because like we've already talked about Bloodstock, that's happening this week. It's so exciting. But in December as well, you're going out on the road with Ice Nine Kills, and a
Yes, yeah.
UK arena tour. Honestly, when you like announced that you're going to be returning to Wembley, I thought this was the best news ever because you deserve to be playing places like Wembley. I saw you at the HMAs for the beginning campaign that you were talking about when you did
Oh
Crash
yeah,
11 and you
yeah.
weren't wearing makeup.
We
Yeah,
weren't
I
wearing the
was there.
makeup, see.
Yeah, you
Are
weren't
we?
lying. Yeah, so to see you go back there is going to be really cool. So yeah, like how excited are you to be getting back out on the road as well in December and yeah, going with Ice Nine Kills because that again is just like two bands with amazing visuals, great live performances. So
Well, it was great. Like we played a download. We did like a um the year before last, I think it was. We did like a secret set. We were the secret headliner at one of the stages, and
mhm.
Spencer from Ice Nine Kills. Who we never met him before. He was a really nice bloke. He came and watched the show at the side of the stage, and he was just lovely. Knew all the words and stuff, and just really really friendly and very nice. And then so when we got asked to do this, we were just over the moon. It's really really fun. And with the Devil Wears Prada as well, which is really really cool. So
Yeah.
excited to get to know those guys. And yeah, like we're very excited. I'm also really excited to go back to Europe. We had so
Mm.
much fun just there now, and as I mentioned, we've got on with everyone so well, and we have met some, people that I guess we're gonna be friends with for forever now. It's been really, really good fun, and hoping to see a lot of those people again and get back out there and eat
Yeah.
some great vegan food in Berlin and stuff. But yeah, like so I'm over the moon. I can't wait to do it. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone's shows and ideas as well, and looking forward as also because the record will be fully out then. So we're
Yeah.
hoping to play a bunch of new songs, which for us is always such a treat because, well, one, we're really proud of them. Two, we hope everyone else really likes them. But like,
Yeah.
we some of the older material we've played so many times around that like you need to it injects a new lease of life into us when we have something new to play. So
Yeah.
yeah, and then hopefully we can do the Sanguivore tour at some point where we do
Sanguivore.
Sanguivore sets.
I love that. Brilliant. I'm definitely coming along to the Sanguivore tour. I love that.
That's
Great.
good, isn't
Yeah, it's
it?
brilliant. No, it's so exciting. Like I say, so that's in December as well with Ice Nine Kills here in the UK. And yeah, it's just like there's so much, like I say, that's happening in your camp, and it's incredible. So big congratulations to you, and congratulations on Sanguivore 2, Mistress of Death. Can't wait for October. It's going to be incredible. Just kind of before we get on to the last couple of random questions, because I always end up asking you some random questions. I just want to kind of ask you a bit of a wholesome one, Will, and I'm just
Sure.
curious, like, what would you say to young William, and what would you say to future William, knowing what you know right now and everything that you've experienced so far and the things coming up? Like, have you got anything you would want to say to young you and future you? You know, if ever you listen back to this interview at one point in your life, you think, oh, I remember when I said that to me.
I guess. What would I say to young me? Um, I don't know. I think probably try not to worry as much about everything because I just am a perpetual worrier about stuff all the time. Always anxious that I'm not doing enough or that we're not moving quickly enough. And what I've learned over time is the great thing about getting older is everything becomes loads easier once I turned 30. Like I didn't realize quite how difficult the 20s were until I got into my 30s, and I thought it was so much easier. And because I think you end up slowing down quite a lot at that point, and I've realized that I'm making better music when I'm slowed down. I have more processing space to work on things with when I'm work slower. I think, unfortunately, even now I just still do it, but I think it's a symptom of being young. When I was younger, having a real scramble in my brain, speaking too fast, speaking before I've had a chance to think about it. All things I know we're all guilty of at some point, but yeah, I would tell myself to slow down and try not to worry so much, if I could impart that.
Mhm.
And as for future me, um, that's a difficult one as well. What would I say? Um,
What age are you aiming for at this point? Is
I
the
don't
big
know.
question because that's what I've
It's
never
difficult to
actually
know how
thought
long
about.
I'll live, you know. I'm surprised I'm here now.
But you are, William von Gould when you're 140. What would you say?
It's true. It's true. What would I say? I guess I don't know because I wouldn't know what to advise myself of, but I would hope that I would remember to be empathetic and to listen to people when they were speaking to me, and to never be too busy to do the things that I really love doing, which is just hanging out with my girlfriend and hanging out with our cats and doing all the boring things, the mundane things in life that kind of they are the supports and the turrets that hold up the more ambitious and crazy things.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I would hope. I would hope I still made enough time for all the things and people I love.
Since you've mentioned your lovely girlfriend Charlotte, I know both of you are obsessed with Disney, aren't you?
Yes, yeah, with those Disney adults that the internet warns you about,
I love
unfortunately.
that. That's all good. If you could have any Disney character come on stage with you for a creeper show, who would you pick, and for which creeper song and why?
Well, difficult because the different records would necessitate different Disney characters, you know.
Right. What about the new one?
A new one. Shaz, have you got any good vampire characters from Disney film you can pull out of the air for me? You, oh, the vampire Teddy from The Nightmare Before Christmas, which is
Oh,
that's our
yes.
favorite one, and that was a really quick answer from you there. Also, the vampires from The Nightmare Before Christmas as well.
Perfect.
But yes, that would be great for the new one, I think, at least. The first one I would have chosen Peter Pan because it
Yeah.
was based upon the Peter Pan story, and Sex, Death, and the Infinite Void. Well, pick it for that. That's a hard one to think about, isn't it?
Hmm.
That was a very difficult record to make, so there's not a lot of Disney magic around. It is difficult, and it's funny, you know, because like Sex, Death, and the Infinite Void is one of my favorite records we've done, but it was just born of such a tragedy and difficulty and a lot of very very bad mental health stuff that was going on among the numerous of us. But sometimes that's how you make your best work, you know,
Yeah.
and it's still to this day is one of the best selling things we've ever made. Felt like it was just so traumatic, and so sometimes you know it's hard to think about, you know, because it was just such a difficult moment in our history.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's hard to think about a good Disney character. I might have to come back to you on that one.
Not to worry.
I don't want to
But
banish any characters there, you know.
well, also on a similar vein, I guess movies and things like that. You're going to be the best person to ask this question to. But what is your go-to Halloween movie, and what is the movie of spooky season for you?
Oh God, there's so many.
Oh, I know it's hard to pick, isn't it?
What would be the one? Um,
The ultimate.
Well, it's difficult because it's different different terms of different things, you know. I guess like a couple of years ago when we were away, I was watching where were we? We were watching a lot of the Ed Wood films, so like Plan 9 from Outer Space,
Mhm.
like Bite of the Monster, and Glinda, like all these classic kind of Ed Wood movies. So we were on a kick with that for a while, but then
Uh-huh.
there are times in my house, I've got to a point now where Charlotte will watch a horror film every single day, and sometimes it gets so bleak that we have to watch the happier stuff before we go to sleep. You know, so you don't want to dream scary. You know that's too far. You know, like you need to dream happy so you can live a spooky day. You know, but
Yeah.
and I find that like. or that you can't be the classics. Frank and Weenie or something like that
Oh,
is
but
a
that's
really
really
upbeat.
sad.
I know, but it's still got lots of upbeat moments, isn't it? Like there's
It
lots of
has it.
beats of it that are good. But I would, yeah, something like that, I suppose, would be something upbeat and happy. The ultimate thing is that golden era of Tim Burton before it all
Mm.
got a bit too CGI.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. So, at the Edward Scissorhands, the Beetlejuice, around Batman '89 sort of stuff, like all of that era of Tim Burton was perfect for that too. So
Yeah.
it would either be some sort of the classic B movies of Ed Wood, or that kind of, or if I'm in a mood for something something wholesome, it would be those Tim Burton films from that magical era.
Yeah, same for me as well. And I mean, I'm always watching Tim Burton too. And it's just like, I mean, it don't even have to be Halloween. It's Halloween all
Oh
year, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
So like,
Of course it is. Yeah.
I mean, I watched the others last night. I was watching Sweeney Todd the night before that.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
they're the best. Anyway, have you got a lovely message that you would love to send out to Creeper fans, followers, anybody that supported your music, just to kind of wrap up? And yeah, have you got anything you want to say to them or let them know?
Well, just that I'm very, very grateful for everyone's continued support, and there's a lot of new people that have found their way into our camp for the last little while off the back of Sanguivore. So I do know that Sanguivore 2 is going to be for some people, the first kind of campaign that they're going to be around for. And just how grateful we are that they're here, and we can feel their excitement. How much we really appreciate it as a band like ours. Every single comment, every single like, every single share, all those sorts of things that really I know are complete bullshitty things, but they help us so much. So everyone who does that stuff, we love you. Thank you so much. We have a new record that comes out on Halloween. For this our little community here, it's a really exciting time. I think we're going to do a load of stuff around it in the next couple of months. So, Mistress of Death, Sanguivore 2, October 31st. Can't wait for you to have it, and hopefully I'll see everyone at a show soon.
Oh, well, thank you so, so much for your time today. It's been a real pleasure talking to you about everything music, spooky, all the vibes. And I'm wishing you so much luck for the big show on Saturday as well at Bloodstock. And thank you so much for just, coming on, talking to me and being a special guest on the show again. It's always a pleasure. So have a great rest of your spooky week.
Yes, well, thank you so much for having me, and I really appreciate it. Every time you're always so supportive, so I really, really do appreciate that as well. And such lovely questions. So thanks very much. I do appreciate that.
Thank you, Will. Hope to see you in Charlotte around soon. Have
Lots
a
of
great
love.
rest of your day. See you later.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, bye.